I told him about it and told him not to come home and that his stuff would be gone and that his car would be gone and all this thing.
Your thoughts? You see that, Lori Vallow is starting to get worked up and, she's describing going after her husband. When he comes back, he's not going to have this, he's not going to have that. And you see daughter Tylee settle her down. What do you take from looking at that, both for both of the people?
Well, the first thing that I noticed is that Lori is leaning forward. She's got her hands that are underneath the table, so she's restraining herself. Also shows low confidence. You see daughter, her hands are all out front, right? So there's complete discord in their beginning in their body language. And then what I also noticed was the language.
I caught him cheating and I had evidence and I told him about it.
She says, this time I caught him cheating. So it was really interesting to me when she used the word this time. Was there other times? Was there times where she was unfaithful? So people say what they mean what they say, and words are really powerful. Then she goes on to talking about that the car is gone. And then I noticed that the voice inflection changes.
I told him about it and told him not to come home and that his stuff would be gone and that his car would be gone and all this thing.
Her hands don't come out on the table and show emphasis with her hands, but she does it through her vocals. When she uses the word gone is final. So there's anger that's in her voice. Secondly, that when she does that, daughter comes over, consoles her. And what I'm noticing, that's something that she's done often. So I'm consoling you, Mom, keep it, and she does it in a nice way, in a very gentle way. So when I'm seeing that, it's something that daughters had to kind of keep her in check quite a few times throughout her life. Overall, her body language, she was low confidence. I saw her as being histrionic when she got angry, almost bipolarish. I don't know what her psychological evaluation is, but when I'm reading that, I'm seeing a lot of passive-aggressive personality that's coming out in her responses. And then the giggle.
So he's a little mad.
The laugh afterwards was really interesting because when we look at laughter is an expression of an emotional thing. So we laugh when we're happy. Sometimes we laugh when we feel uncomfortable. We laugh when we're embarrassed. But this was a little bit more of a sinister laugh. It was more like, I gotcha kind of laugh. So you take that into context with her words. It tells us a lot about the way that she's actually thinking.
Did you get the feeling that Tylee was trying to protect Mom from going off the rails in front of these police officers, that she knew that Mom was capable of, in an instant, like you mentioned, being bipolar, and that this motion over, which Lori really responded to, was a protective measure to Mom so that she wouldn't keep going down this track?
Yeah, it was a reverse role we've got going on here. The daughter became the mother and was consoling her. And when she did that, when I saw that, it was something that she's had to do often throughout her life. So it was a loving, protective, concerning tap, leaning out, touching just the top of her hand, saying, okay, Mom, calm down. And so, yes, she was kind of taking that parental role.
And again, our thanks to Susan Constantine. Great to see her again. Hey, when we come back, brand new court date in Lori Vallow Daybell's case. We'll talk about that. And a new podcast dropped yesterday. It dropped at midnight. Yeah, it's available Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CourtTV.com. This week, Seema and I talk about the Vallow case and also talk about, of course, the Tiger King.
Welcome to Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
It's a busy day here at Court TV.
That is the game changer.
You have to look at everything in this case.
He murdered our daughter. You take the hose and squeeze it.
Guilty on all counts.
This is true crime all the time.
We continue our gavel-to-gavel coverage, and you're not going to miss a moment of it.
This is what I love to do. On your front row seat to justice. In In Rexburg, Idaho, Doomsday Cult Mom Lori Vallow Daybell still behind bars, still not telling anyone where her children are. But tonight, we get more insight into what was going on before the children disappeared and before people around her started dying.
I caught him cheating and I had evidence and I told him about it.
In Hernando County, Florida, a man who spent 28 years on death row for a murder he says he didn't commit is set free in the middle of the coronavirus lockdown.
I had my first Publix sub the day I went to the beach, and I thought I was in heaven. It tasted so good.
In Cook County, Illinois, COVID-19 running rampant in the jail and the inmates running scared.
We're still in two-man cells, so we can't social distance.
Do you feel safe?
No.
And in Springdale, Ohio, a brutal beating caught on camera in a Walgreens parking lot. Plus you, the 13th juror, speaks out with your reaction on social media. Welcome back. Big headline in the Doomsday Cult Mom case. Lori Vallow Daybell has a new court date, April 17th. She's going to be back in court, if everything goes as scheduled, for a bail reduction hearing. Remember, she's been there before, asking before, got it reduced initially down to $1 million, but can't get any bondsman to post the money for her. Because the bondsmen apparently are asking her, well, tell us where your kids are and we'll put the money up. Here's the problem she has. I mean, if her children are alive, if her children are safe right now, all she has to do is say where they are. All of this goes away very quickly. She gets out of jail. But she is saying absolutely nothing. However, we do have her on video speaking. This is back in January of 2019. She's at the Gilbert Police Department in Arizona because there's a little bit of a spat between her and her then husband, then alive husband, Charles Vallow. And apparently there was some problem with some money taken from a bank account, some order to have her evaluated, and he's holding on to her purse. She goes to the police station with Tylee. Take a look.
You come there, I was asking you questions, so, like, is this something that's happened before, or is this
Unfortunately, yeah. We've had to leave and go to hotels just so it calms down or something, you know. So we've done that before.
What is it, like, that motivates him doing this kind of stuff? Does he say why?
He just goes nuts sometimes. This time I caught him cheating and I had evidence and I told him about it, and he travels a lot for business, so I told him about it and told him not to come home and that his stuff would be gone and that his car would be gone and all this thing. So he's a little mad.
She's just trying to protect herself. Yeah.
But I just left with the kids because I didn't want them in all the drama.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then you took your phone, your purse, and has he tried to make contact with you since?
He's trying to contact me through her. He has my phone. I don't have a way to be contacted.
Yeah, and I didn't know her. I didn't know what her. I couldn't contact her.
Nobody could contact me. I just went and bought a phone so I could have a phone, a little throwaway phone.
Have you called him to ask him if he'd bring your stuff back?
Well, he talked to her about it. So.
And what was?
Yeah, I said, would you be willing to give me the purse for Lori? You know. And he goes, no, unless she does this, and and all these.
Don't speak in generalities. I want specifics. What did he say?
So he wanted me to meet him in therapy.
He wasn't going to give you the purse. He just was saying he'd give it to me if I meet him there.
Okay.
Right. I don't really want to talk to him today if I don't have to. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we have him bring the purse back, are we all good? Like, I mean. You're not willing to meet with him with a therapist or anything to try to get it back?
I don't want to meet with him because I don't know. He's very sneaky. So, like, what he'll do is meet me in the parking lot and mess around with me, whatever. Like, he's not going to just.
What if we called him and see if he'll come here and we can facilitate him giving your purse back? Texting her.
Texting all my family and the kids too.
Yeah, he definitely has her phone. So we know it was him that took the purse because he.
What's he texting you?
I have the text. He was basically just texting me. He's acting like that my son was in danger. I'd be worried about JJ's safety and things and texting her like he's gonna.
So, sent me a strange link to a website about our church.
About crazy people.
Yeah. Said this is what's happening, and then he texted me at almost midnight, but I have no choice. I'm just sick. I had no choice. Which he didn't file a police report or anything as far as we know, so I'm just assuming he was trying to get a response. And then I love you. He was.
Police report about what?
Or I don't know, but he was acting like he did something.
And then those text messages came from. Do you have it entered as mom's phone or?
No, that was from him.
That's before.
That was from his phone.
He didn't take the purse until 8:30.
This was last
when I was
night.
at school. So that was from his phone.
And he was sending word for word the same text to my cousin, like.
What's his name?
Charles.
How impressive is Tylee in that interview? She's only 16 years old, but very smart, very mature, and that's one of the two children that she won't tell anyone where she is. Let's bring in Ted Rollins. Ted is taking a deep dive into this. Ted, something that stuck out to me that we heard her say there. She says, "Oh, I don't like all the drama." Are you kidding me, Lori Vallow? You bathe in drama. How do you, what is it, 5 husbands? How do you go through all those husbands without just loving all the drama?
Yeah, and bringing her children into the drama. As you mentioned, Tylee is there, and she's really in control. She knows that mom is a powder keg, and she reaches over and stops her a few times during this 20-plus minutes of video that we received from the Gilbert Police Department. She is controlling her mother because her mother is great for 95% of it. She is, you know, the officers like her. She's attractive, but there's 5% of it where you can see that it's the Lori off the rails, and Tylee's there every time to settle mom down, stop her, and what's very interesting is mom responds and gets herself back and back to normal.
But she really sounds like a high school, like a high school girl in the way she's talking about all this and the drama, and he's sneaky and he does. It's really strange on many levels. And I can understand that, you talk about that 95 and that 5%. That's probably the 95 gets the new husband, then the 5% happens, and it's like, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into here?
Which Chad Daybell's probably going through that right now. Chad's like, I wonder if I want to be around at the end of the world with her. So it'll be, you wonder where they are in their relationship.
Maybe he's talked the bondsmen out of not posting the money.
Yeah.
Just to get a little bit of social distancing from her.
On that, though, I should tell you, Vinny, on that note, I did talk to a bail bondsman yesterday in Rexburg, and they are ready to actually help her out if there is a decrease in the amount. Because now, at $1 million, they could go and say, show us the kids, we'll let you out. If that goes down, they'll be in a different position, and a couple of them are in a position too. If the judge reduces it, don't be surprised to see Lori Vallow out right after that hearing.
Wow, that's a big hearing, April 17th. Okay, so you had an opportunity to speak with JJ's grandparents, and from my perspective, that's the heart of the case because they bring us there. But it's also, they're very blunt and very truthful. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
I do know that she was disassociating with JJ. Yep. And back last January 30th, when she and Charles split up, where she left for 58 days, she and Tylee went to Hawaii a little while after, in February. And her friend over there said that, that Lori was saying, well, Tylee and I are moving here. And so we're going to need to get jobs and we just want to get settled. And her friend asked her, what about JJ? And she said, well, Charles is just going to keep him. She just wouldn't talk about it. And she said Charles was going to keep him. So right there, she was done. That was last February. January when she told Charles.
Everything that she tells everybody is a different lie. I have never seen this in my lifetime. And look, I've been in business 45 years, and I can tell you right now, I've been lied to. And I don't know how she keeps up with it. I really don't.
She doesn't. You can't keep up with lies. You
And
can't.
I don't understand it. I truly don't. And especially, I saw the love that she gave JJ. I saw the love that she gave Tylee. And it's like somebody flipped a switch. And if I was...
was it Chad Daybell that flipped that switch?
We don't know. But if I was Chad Daybell, I'll tell you what, I'd never go to sleep with both eyes closed.
I love the way they cut to the truth and they say exactly what they're thinking. And they're the ones that got this entire investigation started, right?
Absolutely, because they hadn't heard from JJ. They were FaceTiming with him on a regular basis. And after Charles died, of course, they were concerned because they knew that Charles was protecting JJ and that they were concerned about Lori's ultimate motives with him. So they had these scheduled FaceTime. So once they missed one of them, the red flags went up. They alerted authorities, and that's what started this whole investigation.
Now, another interesting observation they made was the shooting death of Charles Vallow. Let's take a listen.
When Charles was murdered, there was 5 people in that room.
There's 5 people there.
There was 5 people in the room.
Well, we don't. Hopefully, JJ wasn't there.
Well, there was 5 people there when it started.
Right.
And 4 of them were gone. Think about that. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it keeps coming back to that. I think that the shooting death of Charles Vallow, I think, is the key to unlocking everything here.
Yeah, and that is where the Arizona authorities, the Chandler Police Department, they have been on it from the beginning. When Charles was killed by Alex Cox, Lori's brother, there was a public information officer in Chandler that said this has been ruled a suicide or a self-defense case or something to that effect. So people thought, oh my gosh, the police think it's self-defense. And that's what that Larry and Kay thought too. That's why they got on a plane and they went there and said, no, this can't be. And when they got there, they say, no, police didn't believe Lori Vallow for a minute. And you look at that video, the hours after he's dead, she's laughing with police officers. The red flags were up from the beginning. The investigation is continuing. Don't be surprised to see Lori Vallow's next court appearance, after the one on Friday if it happens, might be in Arizona. She is looking at an indictment.
Well, they should move a little bit quickly if, in fact, there's a bail reduction, because that's a possibility in Rexburg, because we know a client-lawyer conversation was recorded while she was in the jail. That'll be an issue, and it may come down. We shall see. Ted Rowlands, appreciate it. Thanks so much.